Hey guys, welcome back to the D Time Love Show. And today I've got a watch sent into the channel from a company called Reiser. And they're actually a firm based in the Netherlands, but this watch is made in Germany. This is their chronograph watch, the Reiser Alpine chronograph. And yeah, it's nice to see a micro brand made in Germany. And I wonder whether my perception of German products meets my expectation in this particular timepiece. And I have to say, I do turn away a lot of watches from many different firms, and this has got a Gerald Genta inspired design, without a doubt. There's no confusing that, where they've taken their inspiration from in terms of the design. But has it got enough to make you think they've created their own product here? But, you know, overall, it's going to be an interesting review. But let's have a look at the packaging it comes with. And this is the box. Solid, simple, well made, I have to say. Nothing spectacular, but does the job at the price point. It comes in at £340 sterling in the UK for 2021. It does come in many different color variations. I believe there's a blue chrono, and this is the black dial one. It also comes on the rubber, and they also have some other watches that are automatic. Let me show you some of their range of watches. Very cool indeed. But let's get into the specification of this particular timepiece. Now, before I give you my first impressions of this particular timepiece, and I've been wearing it for a week or two, so it's not really an unboxing, it's a bit of a review on what I've noticed over the last few weeks about this particular timepiece. But let's go through the specification of this particular timepiece. Now, case diameter, you've got 41 millimeters, good size for a chronograph, I have to say. In terms of case thickness, you're looking at 11.20 millimeters. Very good, I have to say. First thing I noticed was the satin brush finish throughout the bezel, the case, and the bracelet. And it tapers down. Looking at the clasp there, you've got a butterfly clasp. You've got some nice engine turn finish in there on the clasp. Very nice indeed. Now, looking at the case back, nice design, made in Germany, sapphire crystal, Japanese movements, stainless steel, very nice indeed. Now, this watch hosts the Miyota 0S10 caliber, which is a quartz Japanese movement, reliable. We'll go into more of that in my first impressions. And looking at the bracelet, it's nicely integrated, tapers down, very nice indeed. Now, what do I make of this watch? Well, looking at the dial, first of all, this is the black variant, and in different lighting, it does have a different shade of black. Looks like a grey slate in different angles, but the dial has been executed very well. Now, let's have a look at with my magnifier. Let's see if this is going to work. First on the D Time Love channel. Let's get some light. This is focus. Now, what I noticed was when I look at micro brands at this price point, I normally tend to see some dust particles in there. The quality controls not always the best, and it's to be expected at this price point, you know. And but one thing I noticed about this watch is that quality control is at the very highest level for the price point. There's no dust particles in there. The indices, the hands are finished to a very high standard, and it does meet that German approval. Although this watch has got a Japanese movement, it has been assembled in Germany, and that's a good thing. You know, you probably would have thought if you had this watch made anywhere else, it'd probably be a little bit cheaper. But I think the mere fact that it's been made in Germany puts it in a strong position. It's got a flat sapphire crystal. with an anti-reflective coating, which is very nice indeed. Let's check the movement out, see how this operates. So it does have a bit of a snapback function, a little bit like you get on mechanicals and a Mecha Quartz. I would have preferred a Mecha Quartz, I'll be honest with you, if I'm being overly critical. But let's just press that again. And it snapped back very well. Yeah, it's nice. You've got the date function there. Reiser chronograph, made in Germany. Like I said, the execution of the dial is very good. I do love the satin finish. Very consistent throughout the break. It plays with the light very well. There's no inconsistency, no sharp points on the bracelet either. And you've got a screw down pin for the integrated bracelet. Get this into focus for you. That engine turn finishing on a butterfly glass. Very nice indeed. Let's get this on the wrist to see how it wears. Well, look, it wears very nicely indeed. 41 millimeters. Look at the bracelet. Sorry about the lighting today, guys. Look at the satin finish. Very nice indeed. It is a nice looking watch. And yes, it has taken its inspiration from that Genta design. But it offers something at micro brand level where you don't get much of nowadays. This is probably one of the first micro brands that I've ever reviewed from Germany, and the quality is right up there to what I expected from a product from Germany. Now, whilst being overly critical about this watch, I would have to say the biggest disappointment for me is probably, as well as how good and fluid the bracelet is and it's finished, it just seems very disappointing in the fact that you don't have screw down pins. Instead of you've got push pins. I just think they missed out there. I think surely it wouldn't have cost that much more. It would have made this bracelet almost perfect for the price point, I have to say, because it really is fluid. It articulates very well. Doesn't trap any hairs, I have to say. It's very nicely executed. Now, another thing, if I'm being overly critical, and, you know, I know you can't expect everything at this price point, but if the movement was a Mecha Quartz, it would have been so much better. I'm not asking for an automatic movement. A Mecha Quartz with that smooth sweeping hand would have really replicated into that mechanical feel, but I guess maybe it came down to the configuration of the subdials. I'm not really sure. Maybe they can reproduce and reconfigure the dial to accommodate a Mecha Quartz. But, you know, this Miyota movement can be found in many watches. Some of them a lot cheaper as well, I have to say. But it is reliable and it's a real workhorse of a quartz movement. You can just change the battery. It will last you a lifetime. And if anything ever went wrong, they are quite cheap to replace, which is always great news. But Reiser, I have to say, impressive in terms of the quality. Overall, it's a good watch. It's a good watch for the money. I think this type of watch will appeal to someone who's on the lookout for this type of design watch, but is image conscious and will like the idea that it's made in Germany, which is one of its biggest selling points, that may give it an advantage against other watches with similar inspired design. But I was impressed with the lume. It comes with BGW9 Swiss Luminova. I'll leave you a shot there so you can check that out. Very good. I would have liked a screw down crown as well. But, you know, they're in early stages. I think if they up the water resistance to 100 meters, they could have a real watch enthusiast favorite, I feel. It's definitely a good looking watch. It's taken its inspiration from Genta design, and there's no shame in that, to be honest with you. It's not perfect, but for £340 with the sapphire crystal, with anti-reflective coating, with the actual Swiss Luminova, the satin finish that you're getting on this watch, it's a good buy. It's a good package. Not perfect by any means, but I can see it doing well. It won't appeal to everybody, but for a chrono watch that stands out, that's versatile, I think Ressa have done a good job. And I look forward to seeing what else they produce in their collection. So guys, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of this particular timepiece, and I'll see you in the next video.